So I just wanted to give a short introduction about the Human Rights Foundation. If you don't know about us already through the work of my boss, Alex Gladstein, who talks a lot about Bitcoin and why Bitcoin matters for human rights and human freedom, the Human Rights Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're based out of the US. We promote human rights in closed societies. Now, a lot of you may have heard about the work we have done in promoting Bitcoin as a powerful tool for activists, but a lot of you may not be aware of all the other programs that HRF also does. So obviously, we're a human rights nonprofit, so we do a lot of traditional human rights work, lawyers at the United Nations, promoting human rights. We like to think of very innovative solutions and innovative ways for regular people and for activists to promote human rights in their countries. So some examples of programs would be like Flash Drives for Freedom, where we work with people in South Korea to smuggle and ship flash drives loaded with Wikipedia, information about the outside world, into North Korea. So that's an example of one of the programs we have. I'll speak about the Bitcoin Development Fund later, which is another program we have where we give grants to support Bitcoin and Noster and the Lightning Network. Our chairman is Gary Kasparov. You may have heard of him. A lot of you know about his work as a former chess grandmaster, but he also does a lot of work promoting human rights, and he's a Russian dissident. And we have the Oslo Freedom Forum. It's our annual conference series. Think of it like the World Economic Forum in Davos, but instead of dictators and shitty people gathering together, it's all human rights activists and people who are promoting freedom, trying to make the world a better place. Yeah, so how do we promote human rights? We partner with activists, we create innovative solutions, and we mobilize people, right? So you can read all about this on the slide, but I wanted to get into the big question, right? So whenever I'm at a Bitcoin conference, people often ask me, why would the Human Rights Foundation support something like Bitcoin, right? Isn't Bitcoin just a speculative technology, helping rich people in Silicon Valley get richer? Isn't it just about people who got in early making a lot of money? I get that question a lot when I go to Bitcoin conferences. But now that I'm at Nostrasia, I'm going to get the question, why would HRF support Noster, right? Isn't it just a bunch of weird people talking online, talking about zaps or whatever? Like, why would we talk about Noster? Why does the Human Rights Foundation care about Noster? So I just wanted to take a quick step back. I know my talk was titled HRF Funding Noster, but I wanted to expand it a little bit and talk about human rights. And why does freedom matter at all? Why does human rights matter? So over half of the world's population today lives in an authoritarian or competitive authoritarian regime. And you know, authoritarian regime, when you think about authoritarian regime, like what does that mean? Like what does it mean to live under an authoritarian regime? Living in an authoritarian regime means that if you post something that's critical of the government, just on Twitter, on Noster, or we just make a private post to your friends that's critical of the government, you could be arrested and sent to jail, right? It means that if you dare to use money that's not controlled by the government, right? If you save in dollars or maybe if you save in Bitcoin and you opt out of the government's financial system, you could be arrested and sent to jail. It means if you do something as simple as maybe liking a post that's critical of the government, you could be sent to jail, right? And that sounds bad, right? Hopefully that sounds bad. We're in Japan, it's a thriving democracy. Many of us flew all around the world. We came from the West where we took our freedoms for granted. But why is authoritarianism bad? Why does it matter, right? So these numbers are actually a little out of date. I'm pretty sure they're worse, which is sadly. But authoritarianism and authoritarian regimes are responsible for 97% of the world's refugees, right? If you think of people fleeing horror and violence of war, authoritarian regimes are responsible for most of the world's refugees, right? 79% of the world's active conflicts are caused by authoritarian regimes. If you just follow the news at all, you think about Russia's invasion of Ukraine and all the other wars going on right now, it makes a lot of sense, right? 18 out of 20 countries with the world's worst access to drinking water are in authoritarian regimes, right? So when I got to Tokyo, I went to the hotel, I just turned on the tap, and I drank water straight out of the tap, right? That sounds very, that's actually a very revolutionary act. Most people in the world can't just go to their hotel, turn on the tap, and drink the water, right? Many of us take that for granted. 90% of the world's countries that are ranked lowest in combating human trafficking are authoritarian regimes. It makes a lot of sense. If you're an authoritarian dictatorship that'll throw someone in jail just for criticizing them, why would you care about something as simple as human trafficking and finding sexual slavery? And 9 of the 10 world's poorest countries are authoritarian regimes. right? If you take a step back, that makes a lot of sense. If you can't even provide basic services for your citizens, if you'll arrest, torture, and kill people for simply criticizing you, you probably aren't that smart at economics, and you don't understand how to even run a less shitty central bank, right? You probably have massive inflation, if not hyperinflation. Your government's poorly run, right? So what is the problem? What is Noster trying to fix, and why would the Human Rights Foundation try to support Noster? Free speech is under attack globally. Now, if you think of other social media platforms out there, they suffer from a lot of the risks of centralization, right? You're trusting central entities with your data. You're trusting other people, basically, right? And one example of this was when a former Twitter, now X, employee was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for spying for Saudi Arabia. There's a vibrant, distant community online on social media platforms. And Twitter can be a powerful platform for human rights activists and everyday people who are trying to speak out against their government, right? They can create an account anonymously online and post news, post information, and criticize their government without having to go through the risk of actually physically being on the ground attending a protest. But the Saudi Arabian government figured out, hey, if we could find someone inside Twitter and just give them money, we can get the private IP addresses, email addresses, information of people who are criticizing us, right? And that's very dangerous. When you can't speak out freely online and we can't speak out freely anonymously online, you expose yourself to central government attack, right? The government can just try to find you physically and arrest you. So that's one problem. Another problem is, like I said again, when you use centralized services like Twitter or Facebook, and they have a legal office, a corporate office that a government can send a legal demand letter to, it exposes you, exposes your private information. And governments around the world are trying to attack freedom online. They're trying to attack free speech. They're trying to attack our right to speak freely by going after anonymous users, by going after users that criticize them online. So that's a huge problem. So obviously, what's the solution? What can we do about that, right? I hope it's self-evident. We have decentralized technologies now, right? We have Bitcoin, money that isn't controlled by the state, money that the government can't freely just debase. They can't just print more of it out of thin air, right? It can't be easily mass surveilled. And we have Noster, right? Noster's not perfect. And there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to privacy on relays. There's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to private key management, and NSEC management. And there's a lot of things that we have to work on, and it's not going to be easy. But it provides a gateway. It provides an escape path. It provides a way for us to escape the current system. So I'm just very inspired by everything I'm seeing here. All the builders here, all the people here who are trying to make the world more free, more prosperous, more decentralized. And the Human Rights Foundation would like to support that work. We would love to support all of you builders who are building on Noster. We also support people who are building on Bitcoin. So that's why we have a Bitcoin Development Fund. The Bitcoin Development Fund promotes projects that promote the decentralization, usability, and privacy of Bitcoin, Lightning, and Noster now. If you don't follow our work, so I put up some of our previous grant recipients up here. We've supported Damus, great iOS Noster client. We've supported Snort, great progressive web app, BTC Pay Server. Always have to give a shout out to the BTC Pay Server people. Censorship resistant, donation processing, essential for activists, essential for people who are trying to accept donations online. We promote educational programs like Summer of Bitcoin, which are trying to onboard more people into building on Bitcoin, finding college students and getting them into Bitcoin design, Bitcoin core development. We support a lot of Bitcoin core developers. One example is Gloria Zhao, one of the Bitcoin core maintainers. She now works for Brink. Excited for her. And we support Bitcoin circular economies like Bitcoin and Kasi because it's important for us to build communities, build places where we can actually buy and sell everything with Bitcoin and opt out of the government money system. So if you'd like to learn more, you can follow me on Noster. I am on Noster. You can learn more about the Human Rights Foundation and the work we do at hrf.org. And if you want to learn more about the Bitcoin Development Fund, where we support Bitcoin, Lightning, Noster projects, conferences, community building conferences, you just go to hrf.org/devfund, hrf.org/devfund. If you have an interesting project or idea, definitely apply for funding. We'd be excited to look at it. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a great day. I know I'm keeping you between lunch. And yeah, if there's any questions, I'd love to take questions. Thank you.
For Alex, questions for Alex of HRF? You got one? You got one. This is good. No, this is good.
Hey, this is Lottie. I just would love to know, sorry if I missed it, how did you get involved with HRF, but also with like the Noster community?
Yeah, so my journey at HRF I was a student at UC Berkeley. I was studying business and political science, and I've always been involved with civil liberties and human rights. I did a lot. I volunteered for Berkeley Cop Watch when I was in college. Cop Watch is an organization where we would get a police scanner and listen into the police radio calls, and then we'd follow the police everywhere, and then we'd videotape them. And if we saw them doing anything illegal, we'd sue them. Right. So I used to do that in college. It was a lot of fun. I was involved in a lot of civil rights, human rights work in college. And when I graduated, I was looking for a job. So I just searched the word freedom on the UC Berkeley job search engine platform Handshake, and a Human Rights Foundation came up. I applied, and that's how I got a job at the Human Rights Foundation. Right. So Noster related, I honestly, I'm a huge fan of X or Twitter. I used to post a lot, but given recent leadership changes and a lot of concerning events, I was definitely, like many people, getting a little bit disillusioned with Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Twitter, X, everything. And then I remember a lot of people on Bitcoin Twitter, the people I would follow, were posting about this cool new thing, Noster, there's no censorship, you can post everything you want, you can control your own identity. I was like, that's cool, let me just try out Noster. So I downloaded Damus, shout out to Will for creating such an amazing app. And yeah, that's it. That's how I got on Noster.